The fluorescent lights of Save More Grocery buzzed overhead as Marcus Williams stood frozen in the bakery aisle, his hand halfway to a discounted birthday cake. The words that had just cut through the quiet evening air hung there like a slap. Is there any expired cake? He looked up. A young woman in designer athleisure stood 15 feet away, her phone pressed to her ear, not even glancing in his direction. But the store clerk approaching her had caught the question, and Marcus, a 34-year-old single father with his 6-year-old daughter Maya holding his hand, had heard everything. Expired cake, the clerk repeated, confused. Yes, you know, the ones you're about to throw away, the woman said impatiently, lowering her phone. I'm planning a gender reveal party, and I need something cheap for a cake smash photo op. It's just going to get destroyed anyway. Do you have anything in the back that's past date? I'll take it off your hands. Marcus felt his daughter's small fingers tighten around his hand. He glanced down at Maya, whose wide brown eyes were fixed on the Princess Castle cake in the glass display case, the one with purple frosting and edible glitter that cost $42.99. The one he couldn't afford. His checking account held $247.32, and that money had to stretch for another week and a half. Maya's birthday was in 3 days. The irony wasn't lost on him. Here he stood, a man with an engineering degree from State University, formerly a quality control supervisor at Motor City Auto Plant, now working 2 part-time jobs. One as a night security guard, another doing weekend maintenance at an apartment complex, trying to decide if he could justify spending $8.99 on a discount birthday cake for his daughter. And there stood someone willing to throw money at waste, treating something meant to celebrate as garbage. The clerk looked uncomfortable. Ma'am, we don't sell expired products. These items here are just marked down because they're approaching their sell-by date, but they're still perfectly good. Perfect, the woman interrupted. I'll take the cheapest one you have. Doesn't matter what it looks like. She reached past Marcus without even acknowledging his presence, her manicured hand grabbing the chocolate sheet cake he'd been reaching for, the $8.99 cake he'd been planning to buy for Maya's birthday. Their hands nearly touched. Something inside Marcus shifted, not anger exactly, but a profound weariness. He'd been invisible before, countless times since the layoff 6 months ago, since his wife Denise had left them for her personal trainer, since he'd gone from middle-class stability to counting pennies. But this moment crystallized something deeper. Excuse me, he said quietly. The woman turned, finally seeing him. Her eyes flickered over him, taking in his worn Save More employee vest from the second-hand store that he wore because it was warm, his daughter's mismatched socks, the cart with its carefully calculated contents, store-brand cereal, bulk rice, chicken leg quarters on sale. Yes, she said, her tone suggesting he was interrupting. Maya tugged his hand. Daddy, it's okay. But Marcus gently squeezed her fingers and kept his eyes on the woman. I couldn't help but overhear. You're looking for a cake to destroy for a photo opportunity. The woman's expression hardened defensively. It's for a gender reveal party. It's a thing people do. Is that a problem? No problem at all, Marcus said evenly. I was just thinking about perspective. That cake you're holding, I was about to buy it for my daughter's 8th birthday. 7th, Maya whispered. Sorry, baby, 7th birthday. Marcus's voice remained calm, but his heart was pounding. He rarely spoke up like this. 3 days from now, it's not the fancy princess cake she really wants, that one there in the case, but it's what I can afford right now. And I was planning to make it special. Candles, ice cream, singing happy birthday. Making a memory. The woman's face flushed. I didn't know. How could you? Marcus said, not unkindly. You weren't looking. The silence stretched between them. The clerk had backed away, pretending to organize muffins. Maya pressed closer to her father's leg, and Marcus rested his hand on her head, feeling the texture of her hair beneath his palm. He'd done his best with the braiding that morning, watching a YouTube tutorial at 5:30 a.m. before his security shift ended. It wasn't perfect, but it was made with love. The woman slowly set the cake back on the shelf. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I wasn't thinking. I got so caught up in my party planning, in getting the perfect photo for Instagram, that She trailed off, looking genuinely shaken. It's okay, Marcus said, meaning it. We all get caught up sometimes. But the woman didn't leave. Instead, She did something unexpected. She pulled out her phone, not to make a call, but to open her banking app. How much is the cake your daughter really wants? The princess won. No, Marcus said immediately. I appreciate it, but no. That's not why I said anything. I know, the woman replied. But please, let me do this. I was about to waste money on something meaningless. Let me spend it on something that matters. Marcus felt his pride rising, that stubborn independence that had carried him through the hardest months of his life. I take care of my daughter. I can see that, the woman said, and her eyes had gone soft. Anyone can see that. The way she holds your hand, the way she looks at you, that little girl knows she's loved. But love doesn't mean you can't accept help when it's offered. She glanced at Maya. What's your name, sweetheart? Maya, his daughter whispered. Maya, I have a daughter too. Her name is Sophie. She's 3, and I hope that when she's your age, if we ever hit hard times, someone would show us the same kindness I'm trying to show you right now. Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. When was the last time someone had truly seen him? Not the broke single dad, not the guy who lost his job, not the husband whose wife left, but just a man trying his best, worthy of dignity and kindness. The thing is, the woman continued, I was so focused on my own little world, my party, my photos, that I forgot what celebrations are really about. They're about love, about showing people they matter. She turned to the clerk, who'd been watching the whole exchange. I'd like to purchase that Princess Castle cake. And whatever else this family needs. That's not necessary, Marcus started. Please, the woman said. My name is Jennifer Chen, and I'm a marketing executive who makes more money than I know what to do with sometimes. Last month, I spent $200 on a handbag I used once. Let me do something that actually means something. Maya's grip on Marcus's hand had loosened. She was staring at Jennifer with wonder and confusion, trying to process this stranger's kindness. Marcus felt tears threatening, and he fought them back. Pride warred with necessity, independence with gratitude. Finally, he nodded. Just the cake, please. But Jennifer was already talking to the clerk. The Princess Castle cake, birthday candles, a half-gallon of good ice cream. What's your favorite flavor, Maya? Cookies and cream, Maya said shyly. Cookies and cream it is. And some balloons if you have them. As the clerk hurried to gather everything, Jennifer turned back to Marcus. I'm sorry I didn't see you at first. Both literally and figuratively. I've been so privileged my whole life that I forgot food insecurity is real. That people make impossible choices every day between birthday cakes and electricity bills. Marcus found his voice. It's not always like this. I had a good job. I was an engineer, quality control supervisor. Made decent money. But the plant closed 6 months ago, and in this economy, with my skill set. I'm working 2 jobs now, but they're both part-time, no benefits. I'm trying to finish an online certification program so I can get back into my field, but between work and taking care of Maya and just surviving. He stopped, surprised he'd shared so much. You're doing everything right, Jennifer said firmly. The system is broken, not you. The clerk returned with the cake, carefully boxed, along with candles, ice cream, and a bouquet of colorful balloons. Jennifer paid without hesitation, then did something else unexpected. She pulled out a business card. My company is always looking for quality control expertise, especially people with manufacturing backgrounds. We make medical devices. It's not auto industry, but the principles are similar. She pressed the card into Marcus's hand. Email me your resume. I can't promise anything, but I can get it in front of the right people. Marcus stared at the card. Jennifer Chen, Senior Vice President of Operations, Meditech Solutions. His hand trembled slightly. Thank you, Jennifer said. For reminding me what matters. For being brave enough to speak up. Most people would have just stayed quiet, let me take that cake, swallowed their pride and pain. She crouched down to Maya's level. You have a wonderful daddy, Maya. Happy early birthday. Maya, never one to hold back when her heart was full, threw her arms around Jennifer's neck. The spontaneous hug seemed to surprise them both. After Jennifer left, Marcus and Maya stood in the bakery aisle, surrounded by their unexpected bounty. The Princess Castle cake sat in the cart, its purple frosting catching the fluorescent light. Maya's face was radiant. "Daddy, was that an angel?" she asked seriously. Marcus laughed, the sound surprising him with its genuine joy. "Maybe. Or maybe just a person who had a moment of remembering we're all human, we're all connected." That night, after Maya had gone to bed still talking excitedly about her cake, Marcus sat at their small kitchen table and updated his resume. He'd been meaning to do it for weeks but had been too exhausted, too defeated. Jennifer's card sat beside his laptop, a small rectangle of possibility. 3 days later, on Maya's 7th birthday, the apartment was filled with her friends from school, children whose parents Marcus had nervously called, worried they'd judge his small apartment, his second-hand furniture. But they'd come, and the kids didn't care about any of that. They cared about the Princess Castle cake, about the games Marcus had planned, about celebrating Maya. When they sang Happy Birthday, Maya's face glowed in the light of 7 candles. Marcus thought about Jennifer, about unexpected kindness, about the way a single moment of connection could ripple outward in ways you couldn't predict. 2 weeks later, his phone rang. It was Meditech Solutions, our department. They wanted to interview him for a quality control management position. The job paid more than his old supervisor role had, with full benefits. 4 months after that, Marcus started his first day at Meditech. Jennifer met him in the lobby, smiled, and said, "Welcome aboard. I had a feeling you'd be perfect for this." "I don't know how to thank you," Marcus said. "You already did," Jennifer replied. "You reminded me to see people. Really see them. I've changed how I live since that night. I volunteer at a food bank now. I mentor young professionals who are struggling. And I never, ever take anything for granted." That evening, Marcus picked Maya up from her after-school program, the one he could now afford, and took her to the grocery store. Not to count pennies, but to shop freely, to say yes when she asked for her favorite cereal, to buy fresh vegetables and good cuts of meat. They walked past the bakery section, and Maya tugged his hand. "Daddy, remember when that nice lady bought my birthday cake?" "I remember, baby girl." Why did she do that? Marcus thought about it, about all the ways to explain human kindness to a 7-year-old. Because she looked up and saw us. Really saw us. And she remembered that we all need help sometimes, and we're all capable of giving it. "I want to be like that when I grow up," Maya said. "You already are," Marcus told her, thinking of how his daughter had hugged a stranger without hesitation, how she'd never complained about their hardships, how she loved fiercely and openly. As they loaded their groceries into the car, Maya chattering about her day, about her friends, about the science project she wanted to do, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Not the desperate kind that comes from wishing things would change, but the solid kind built on evidence that people were good, that connection mattered, that speaking your truth with dignity could open doors. The story of the expired cake, though it had never actually been expired, became a story Marcus told often. At Meditech, he created a program to interview job candidates who had gaps in their employment, understanding that everyone's path was different. He mentored young fathers balancing work and single parenthood. He donated regularly to food banks and community organizations. And years later, when Maya was in college studying social work, she wrote an essay about the moment that had shaped her understanding of privilege, poverty, and human connection. It was about a grocery store, a birthday cake, and a stranger who'd chosen to see. The essay began with a question: what does it mean to truly see another person? And it ended with an answer: it means recognizing that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. It means letting go of your assumptions. It means understanding that expired cake, or any other small thing we take for granted, might represent someone else's celebration, someone else's dignity, someone else's love made visible. Marcus kept Jennifer's business card in his wallet for years, long after he'd memorized her contact information, long after they'd become genuine friends. It reminded him that rock bottom wasn't the end of the story. That shame and pride could transform into strength. That a single moment of courage, speaking up in a grocery store aisle, could change everything. Because that's the thing about being seen. Once someone really sees you, you remember how to see yourself. And once you see yourself clearly, not as a collection of failures or struggles, but as a whole person worthy of dignity, capable of resilience, you can see others the same way. The cake had never been expired. But the moment had been exactly right.